Hey, Alpha Females! This is Katie Freeman. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that you got to reflect on what you're thankful for and got to hang out with friends and family. So, for this week, I thought we could focus on asking why join a sorority in the first place. So the reasons typically vary, but usually it has to do with wanting to feel like a sense of belonging on campus. I know a lot of the women that joined my chapter in college were either transfer students or first year freshmen, and they were really involved in high school and they wanted to continue that sense of belonging into college. One of the reasons I joined was to feel like I had a home base on campus. Now, granted, technically, my housing was off campus, but you get what I mean. I was going to a school that was very, very large, like 30,000 kids, undergrad total, were attending this school. And I was definitely overwhelmed by that number, and I wanted to make sure that I felt like I had a landing base. I wanted to have a place where I could go hang out and I'd have friends there. I was not super close to a lot of my classmates that shared my major. I wanted to have a community outside of just my department. I definitely didn't always click with the people in my major. I was a theater major, lots of actors, lots of big personalities, all vying for the attention of everybody else. So I was very overwhelmed by that, and I definitely wanted an excuse to hang out with other girls that weren't in the performing arts. I wanted to have exposure to girls with different personalities, different temperaments. Another reason why girls typically go into Greek life is to follow their friends. They make friends at other clubs or in classes that they're in, and they find out that, oh, well, that girl's in a sorority. And then that girl in that class invites said friend to the open, events that they host at the house. And then, therefore, before they know it, the girl is being recruited. So sometimes girls just kind of fall into it. Another reason that is not quite as prevalent in Southern California, admittedly, but is honestly more prevalent in the South, I would say, is family pressure. Now, I definitely felt a little bit of that family pressure just because of my background and my situation. If you want more of an explanation on that, listen to episode 1, where I talk all about why I joined a sorority and my background. But in the South, there are generations of women who go Greek, and it's kind of just an expectation. So family pressure is definitely a major influence. So now that I've kind of covered the main reasons and motivations behind why somebody would go into a sorority, I want to go over the reasons why somebody should go into a sorority. If you want a sense of belonging, then go into a sorority. If you want multiple opportunities to volunteer and give back, go into a sorority. If you want to connect with like-minded women and also women that differ from your opinions, but you'd still learn from them, go into a sorority. Sorority women have a very unique leg up on preparing young women for the real world, unlike any other club. Every week, business meetings occur. My sorority held our business meetings on Monday nights. Other sororities may differ, but essentially, the expectation is that you wear business attire and there is a dress code. So, if you're going into a more corporate role once you graduate, this is definitely good practice on how to dress appropriately and what the expectations are. Another reason why you should join a sorority is if you want to give back to your community. All Panhellenic sororities have a designated charity that they fundraise for in various ways, whether it be a hosted fundraiser or going to eat dinner out at a restaurant that's fundraising for the charity, or donating to a food bank, or organizing a clothing drive or a car wash. There are so many opportunities, and the expectation is that you do take part in those activities as an active member of the sorority. Another great reason to join a sorority is feeling supported in your studies. When I went through sorority life in college, there were several scholastic expectations that were necessary to meet in order to stay an active member. You have to have a certain level GPA in order to maintain your membership in the sorority in good standing. I remember at least once a semester we would have scholarship dinner, which was a night to celebrate the women who were top scholars and were getting the best grades in the chapter. And if you were struggling with your grades, there were designated sisters who had signed up that were willing to be put in a study group, or shared your same major, or just wanted to have accountability buddies for studying time. So there were several opportunities to study with sisters in the library or at the chapter house. And I can't go without saying the social aspect of sorority life is definitely a major pull of why people join. Another big reason why people join sororities is for the socialization aspect. Typically, there are mixers with other fraternities, sometimes other sororities, and you just get to meet new people, and it's super fun. I think sometimes girls go into sorority life thinking that it's going to be all social all the time, and that just is not the case. It's a very well-rounded experience, and if you're not in it for the right reasons, it's definitely going to be obvious, and you likely won't have as good of a time if you're just going in for just one of the benefits that sorority life can offer. It's definitely going to be a better time if you fully immerse yourself in all that sorority life can offer, not just one of the aspects. Another aspect of sorority life is competition. There were several competitions that I remember taking part in my college years that were just so fun. I remember doing flag football for one fraternity's fundraisers, and that was definitely a very unique experience. I had never played flag football before in my life, but it was just fun playing with sisters, and even just going to practice was fun, just hanging out with my friends. Another way that you can get involved in the sorority is holding a leadership position. I held two leadership positions when I was in college, and I think it definitely prepared me for the real world and holding down a real job, because you have expectations that are set for you. You have standards of excellence that you must meet, or you are expected to meet, and the level of responsibility that you end up taking is really up to you. If you want a more laid back position, then perhaps something that's lighter on the responsibilities would be better for you. However, those women that are super ambitious and really want to get involved and make a difference in how their chapter runs, they typically go for what's called Leaders Council. Those women are the president, vice president, secretary, etc. They pretty much steer the ship when it comes to the chapter. So, this next reason why you should join a sorority is going to definitely vary by campus, but one of the things that I wanted to experience was living in a sorority house. I admittedly did not expect to live in the house for 3 years. However, do I regret it? Absolutely not. I had a great time living with friends and sisters. I will always remember fondly living with the other girls in the house. Our house was relatively small. I think it only had 11 beds total. But I know in the South there are houses that can fit up to 50. So it's really just, and some other campuses don't even have houses. They just have rooms on campus that they rent out for events. So it's really going to depend on whichever campus you're going to end up at. But one of the things that I definitely wanted to experience when I was in college was living with other sorority women in my group. So that is definitely a big reason. Another aspect of joining a sorority is the opportunity for scholarships. My campus in particular, there were a lot of first generation college students, students who were commuting from home and did not live on campus, and they definitely benefited from applying to and receiving scholarships that were offered either by headquarters or the local alumni chapters. There's just lots of opportunities typically throughout the years as you're going through it to apply and get help with the financial burden that college is. So I hope that this episode was informative and gave you a better understanding of why women join sororities and why you should consider joining a sorority. That's all I have for this week, Alpha Females. I hope you all had a great holiday. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.